Today we're talking about rectangular prisms, and so a rectangular prism is just a box. So if you were to unfold the box, it would look something like this, where the top and the bottom are the same. So you can see the top and the bottom would be the same. We have two sides that are going to be the same, and then we have the back and the front. That would also be the same. So that's important to know. The other thing we can think about is the fact that it has 6 faces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anytime we find the surface area of a rectangular prism, we need to make sure that we have all 6 faces accounted for. So for our first one, we're going to kind of think about it in terms of, like, here's the front face. I'm going to call this rectangle number 1 right here. And it's also the back face. So I'm going to put a 2 here because we have 2 of them. So, actually, let's put the 2 over here. So, the formula is we have 2 of them, base times height, because it's a rectangle. So here it would be 2 times 7 times 3, which would give us 42. Then we could do our top and bottom. So let's call it 2, the top and the bottom. So the second one is here, equals 2 times base times height, which is, for this one, 2 times... It's not really labeled on the top, but you can see down here it's labeled on the bottom. So 2 times 7 times 4, which would give us 56. And then we have the third one, which would be the sides. So this is labeled as 4 over here, and this is labeled as 3 over here. So this one's also 3 inches. So 3 by 4. So 2 of those, because we have 2 sides. So 2 times 3 times 4 is going to give us 24. So that accounts for top and bottom, front and back, top and bottom, left and right sides. So if we add those up, we get a total of 122 inches squared. All right, for our next example, we're going to do the same thing every single time. So every single time we're going to start off with 3 rectangles. And because every rectangle has one that's opposite it and exactly the same, our formula every single time is made 2 times base times height, 2 times base times height, and 2 times base times height. What the bases and heights are is going to change every time depending on which face we're looking at. So if we start looking at this front face here, it's 4 by 5, so 2 times 4 times 5. And then if we look at the bottom, which is the same as the top, is going to be 2 times 4 times 1. And then we have this side over here, which is going to be 2 times 5 times 1. There's not a ton of space here, but if we do that multiplication, we get 40, 8, and 10. So if we add all those up, we get a total of 58 centimeters squared, because we are talking about area, so our centimeters need to be squared. Sometimes you're thinking, oh, it's 3D, so it must be cubed, but not yet. We'll get to that when we do volume. All right, so for our next one, we're going to do the same setup. So we have 3 rectangles, and for all of these, it's going to be 2 times base times height. So we can start off with maybe the bottom one here. So it is 4 by 1.5. So 2 of those times 4 times 1.5. The next one, we can do this side one over here. So it's 2 times 2 times 1.5. And then finally, we could do the front one, which is the biggest one here, which is 2 times 4 times 2. So if we do all of that, use a calculator, you get 12, and 6, and 16, and if we add those up, we get 34 feet squared. All right, for our next one, again, we have 3 rectangles, and each of them is repeated twice. So we have the front and the back. We have the top and the bottom, and we have the left and the right side. So if we're doing the front and the back, so the front would be 2 by 5, because that's 5 there, so 2 times 2 times 5, which gives us 20. The sides are these big squares here, so 2 times 5 times 5, which gives us 50. And then it actually just so happens that our top and our bottom are the same as our front and our back, because the bottom is 2 by 5 as well, so 2 times 2 times 5 is another 20. So if we add those up, we get a total of 90 feet squared. And then last but not least, we have this one here. So again, we have 3 different rectangles, and each of them is repeated twice. So we can do this side, which is 2 times 2 times 6, which is 24. Then we could do the bottom over here, which is 2 times 9 times 6, which will be 108. And then we still have the front one and the back one to do. So this 2 would come over here, so 2 times 9 times 2, which would give us 36. And if we add all those up, we end up with 168 meters squared. So make sure you have all those notes written down.